Welcome to the Preaching to the Perverted. Please like, comment, subscribe. Today's topic of debate were between me, Ball, and Zombie, which they will put their videos up either after or before mine. Simple trans people in sports. Let's be honest here. No, I don't think they should be allowed in sports. They should have their own category. Because let's be honest, you don't see many trans men, aka biological women, trying to jump into men's sport. You just don't see it. But you do see a lot of biological women, I sorry, trans women, i.e. biological men, trying to jump over to women's sports. Simply because majority of them are failed athletes. You have Leah Thomas, for example, who is now being banned from all women events simply because, well, let's be honest, she or he, they have been robbing opportunities for women. And plus, also, you need to think, right, if these haven't gone full transition, they are still have their bits. And if they're getting changed in the women's locker room, why would them biological women want to go into that locker room and see a hanging male genital? It is not fair on them. But back to the topic, most male, most trans women will, yes, they might be taking hormones and stuff, and that decreases their biological stuff just a little bit, but not a lot. Each, they will still be physically taller, physically better muscle mass. They will be still stronger. They will be fitter. They will have less body fat, more muscle mass. They will be able to train better. Pretty much, like they will have more hormones than a regular biological woman, and it's not right. There's been news of men just swapping sports. There was a bodybuilder who was a man. I don't know if he's still claiming to be a woman. Just swapping over to the gender and smashing all records. There was a woman who smashed another record in, I think, the 100 meters or something like that. So why should this be allowed? It shouldn't be. They need their own competitive area. Because again, like I said at the start of this video, it is trans women, biological men, who are jumping over to the other sports to become number one because in the failed athletes in their respective fields. Leah Thomas was like 200 and something, and now she's number one in women's swimming. Like, there you go. Like, that's why they're doing it. They might not feel comfortable in the body, which is acceptable, fair enough. Like, I can understand that. But if you look at it out of outside point of view, without knowing them or knowing the person or anything like that, you just instantly see this person trying to do better in their life by jumping genders. That is it. Like, we don't know how they feel, which is understandable. They could 100% feeling like I don't feel like a man, I feel like a woman, blah blah. But we don't know this. On the outside perspective, that's all we see. We see a former man turning into a woman just to beat everyone else in their respective field, and it's not right. Again, we don't know what they're going on about. All we know is this is just simple. Thank you for watching. Please enjoy the other videos on this channel. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Just nick out for preaching to the perverted.
Alright, so a person's gender identity shouldn't exclude them from anything at all. They should be allowed to play whatever sport they want, just like anybody else. The question is whether or not they should be in the league with their biological gender or what they identify with. But considering that professional sports, the purpose is to gauge one's biological prowess, it doesn't seem right to then make a decision based on someone's personal identity. Now, a person's personal identity, while a very important personal point and something that should be recognized and discussed, it shouldn't be the basis of a decision for something that is not measuring or doesn't affect what it's measuring. A person in sports, in professional sports specifically, are at the peak of their biological prowess. Like that's what they're being judged on. So that's what the competition should be based on: someone's personal biology, not how they identify with it. Now, it would be reasonable to maybe better define what aspects or what biological makeup constitutes, male, female, so that way you can actually have a physical marker. So that way someone who does identify with a gender that they don't necessarily fit with can actually, have a fair marker for which they're being based off of, not just, because they are different. A person should be free to be who they are, while at the same time, who they are is who they are. It's not necessarily everyone else's business. So,
Transgender athletes within women's sports. You see this constantly. Now, I have complete and utter respect for anybody that's come out as transgender and anybody that's having issues with their own sexuality or are completely comfortable with their own sexuality. And I think it's amazing. I think that the things that people have fought for over the generations within gay rights, within being themselves, are fundamentally fantastic. But I think it's now being manipulated to the point where people can get away with certain things using it as an excuse. And I think it's gone so far away from how it started. And to a certain degree within the LGBT community, I think it's disrespectful to the founders of that community. I think what they've fought for it's more than that. And to use that as a failing male sports person to then be able to go into female sports is also disrespectful to the women that have worked really hard to be where they are. It goes against women's rights. It's you can't be subjected to that as a woman. You can't compete. Now, that's not disrespecting women. Some women who have trained and have skills and fantastic athletes. But to be put against someone that's trained the same level as you and has the genetic build of a man is not fair. It will destroy women's sports, and it will be more harmful in the future to the LGBT community. People will resent it, and it will build hate from people within the sport, and it already is building hate across the board. I think there should be a separate arena for transgender to compete in. It boggles my mind to think that a man can go up against a woman, a previous man. I'll put it like that. A previous man goes up against a woman, a transgender woman going up against a woman. Physically, there's a difference. There's a massive difference. And I can't understand how you can see that. I mean, thankfully, it's a lot of steps are being put into place to stop it. I haven't got daughters, but if my daughters were going up against boys at school, I wouldn't like it because they can get hurt. Whether we like to admit it or not, men and women are very different physically. And I just think, just from a safety point of view, it should be stopped. From a point of view of destroying the sport, the female sport, it will destroy it. the women won't be able to compete. From a point of view of the LGBT community, I think it is starting to destroy it. I think a lot of the lesbian and gay side of it are just not happy with the way the organization is going. So yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the fact that people are putting other people in danger, and forcing things onto others that just aren't interested in that. They don't want to be put up against that kind of competition, because there is no competition.